Yo, what is going on YouTube? I am Germ here. As you guys all know, today is the second day of the first week of the 2021 LCS season. Yesterday was an absolute banger with a ton of awesome games, awesome matchups, and really a lot of upsets. You know, expect the unexpected right now. Again, even though we got to see the teams a lot in the LCS lock-in tournament, now everything is starting over, everything is fresh, and it's best of ones where anything can happen. It has been really crazy, and it's a ton of fun to watch. Heading into day 2, TSM and Cloud9 is the biggest matchup really of the whole weekend, but definitely of this day. It is always a fun one. Historically, there's been so many awesome matchups, and this is going to be just like that. We saw TSM against Cloud9 in the quarterfinals of the lock-in tournament. That was a banger series. It was a lot of fun matchups. Obviously, C9 ends up taking it 2-1 with a little reverse sweep. So in this game, we're going to be seeing if TSM can get some revenge on C9, or if C9 is going to continue to stomp them. These teams are kind of trending in opposite directions right now, but hopefully it'll still be a fun one. In this video today, we're going to be breaking down that series and also this really hype intro teaser video that Riot put out, because they're hyping up this series as well. They know these are two massive teams, massive fan bases, and this game should be fun. Before we get into that, I just want to say thank you guys so much. We recently hit 6,300 subscribers. We're kind of moving around right now. When you see this, we might be a little bit above or a little bit below, but I really do appreciate it. It's awesome. And if you haven't already, make sure you join the gang. I would appreciate it so much. Clicking that subscribe button. It's fast, free, it's easy. Helps you guys stay up to date on all my latest content. Also, dropping a like on this video. Make sure you smash that like button. It helps me out the YouTube algorithm so much, and I would appreciate it. With that being said, let's get right into this one. We're talking about this new video that the LCS channel, official LCS channel, if you guys are not already subscribed to them, definitely go check them out. Cloud9 versus TSM, the rivalry Perkz Up 2021 LCS Spring Split opening weekend. Really good video. We're going to see what these guys have to say. It's kind of Perkz and Bjergsen going back and forth. There is some music in it too. Hopefully it's not copyrighted. I don't know. Let's not get taken down. Please. Let's see what happens.
I know it's been a rivalry for many years, but I don't really know like the tournaments or the games or whatever. But I know like the Jensen echoed, I guess. That one.
Oh, I didn't mean to go full screen there. This is so funny, because the funny thing to me here is that this is what he's calling out. One, Perkz is just a guy who's super candid. He always just says whatever is on his mind, and I believe he thinks this is funny. I believe over in Europe they're joking about this one all the time. This has been a big meme. Obviously really unfortunate for Jensen. A really shitty moment for him, but he's been able to bounce back from that well. It's a couple of years ago. Everyone's past it. Who really cares that much? But it's funny. The funny thing is, Jensen, in a lot of his interviews, has been calling out Perkz recently, saying, hey, I'm really good. I'm the best mid laner in the LCS. Perkz probably isn't as good as you guys think he is. He might be a little overrated. Maybe he was good back in the day, but I believe I'm better than him right now. So Jensen's been throwing some shade. You know, he's had a lot of interviews with TL winning the lock-in tournament stuff. He's had a lot of time in front of the camera, and Perkz is no stranger to the camera and everything as well. But Jensen's been throwing some shade. This is Perkz kind of getting back at him in an official LCS piece. I thought this was pretty hilarious. One, just thinking back to that Jensen memory and moment, but then also I think there might be, you know, Perkz taking a little stab at him there, which is spicy. We love it. You know, Jensen's not going to like that. I'm sure he's going to have something to say about that as well. But just kind of, you know, spicy way to start off the video.
That one always hits. That one always hits first.
Laughing so
Even when I was in Europe, we would like always watch this kind of games, like TSM, TL, C9 kind of games, like the top teams. It was always pretty fun to watch. So now being part of those teams, competing those teams is also pretty fun.
Yeah, I think that's really cool that they have, you know, even over in Europe, that they watch those games and think they're really hype and fun. Because, yeah, like, there's been so many awesome rivalries in the LCS over the years. You know, TSM CLG was great for a while. TSM Cloud9's been awesome. Now, TSM, TL, Cloud9. There's really some big teams. Even though the LCS has been kind of a meme recently, we haven't done amazingly internationally, we still have exciting teams, an exciting league, and compelling stories, I think, for teams all across the world. I think North America does a lot of things right. Even if our gameplay isn't always the best, we still do a good job hyping stuff up and getting games and teams and players that people are interested and excited about. We have big fan bases, big brands, big organizations, and I think it makes it a lot of fun. I'm glad that players over in Europe seem to appreciate that a little bit as well, obviously with Perkz telling us that. Hopefully it isn't too loud.
Definitely,
either. I don't know.
It was like a different feeling going to play against Fnatic than any other team in EU. Just back and forth, I guess, going with them for many years has made the rivalry something that I will kind of cherish, actually. The games against Fnatic were pretty fun. G2 versus Fnatic was also like me against Reckless, because we've been like the face of our teams for many years. You knew going into the game was going to be a bloodbath, and the team that's that is like going to take the other team to the ground is going to win. Maybe.
So I think that is one thing really cool and really interesting, that Perkz has gotten to be a part of these two, well, a little bit. He's played against TSM one time, but he's gotten to be a part of these two awesome rivalries. Fnatic G2 is so epic. Those series in the regular season, in the playoffs, in the finals, they have been so much fun to watch over the years. Obviously with Fnatic getting the best of them for a while, then G2's, they've been dominant recently, but always super hyped up, and two massive fan bases and two really great quality teams. And TSM and Cloud9 has had a lot of the same over the last few years. You could argue now that maybe TSM is not looking to be as quality of a team as maybe they once were, or anything like that, and Cloud9 is maybe starting to pull away from them, maybe a little bit how G2 started to pull away from Fnatic, but still, these are going to be hype games, hype matchups, hype fan bases. People are going to be tuning into this. It makes it a little less hype, to be honest, when it's online, not in front of the fans, not in stadium, stuff like that. I think it would make it so much cooler, but still, has to be pretty awesome for him that he's gotten to be a part of two just historic rivalries. And, I mean, so far, he's been pretty successful in both of them. It's got to be a pretty cool thing. Also, I thought it was funny that he's like, Fnatic and G2 was always going to be a bloodbath, and it really always was. They were always pretty great games and exciting, but we don't know that C9 and TSM is going to be a bloodbath. I know I talked about in yesterday's video that in the lock-in tournament, TSM was the slowest and least bloody team in the entire tournament, 10th place in terms of overall kills per game. So this is not, hopefully it's exciting, hopefully it's fun today, hopefully we get a close game that's back and forth with a lot of kills, a lot of action, but TSM, that has not been their style recently, for better or for worse. So that is a little unfortunate there, a little bit disappointing, but still, what you gonna do?
That's something we're going to get in NA as well, but it's hard for me to say that right now because I've actually lost against Fnatic in 2018, like twice. So that made the rivalry from myself more intense, and I've beaten them the 2 years before. It definitely makes it very more entertaining when you beat them, and it makes it a bit more sour when you lose. So it's just more fun. Like it's just the nature of the sport, right? Being in a very nice rivalry, it just makes everything more exciting for the players and for the fans. So I like it. I like that there is a rivalry like that in the NA. I'm pretty much ready to smash them every single time. I want to make sure that TSM doesn't like take a series of us while I'm on the roster.
That's, that's just a super cool cut by the LCS. Obviously, they're always looking for banger quotes or looking for that juicy trash talk stuff that's going to be turned into tweets and memes and Reddit posts and YouTube videos and blah, blah. And him saying, when I'm on this roster, TSM will not beat us and I'm going to do everything to stop that, is a really cold line. It's pretty badass, especially coming from a guy like Perkz, who's obviously going to have so much influence over this series and everything. And then to cut straight into the Bjergsen laughter as they obviously showed him that clip, showed him what Perkz had to say. It's just great storytelling by the LCS. I really appreciate the production value of this intro video, and I think it's doing a great job hyping up the series and games today. So, so far, so good. Props to them, but we got a couple minutes left in this video. Let's hear from Bjergsen now. Perkz got to say what he's got to say. I think it's a little bit weird that we're not getting a TSM player, but obviously Bjergsen is a guy everyone wants to see, hear about, and he can give some good quotes too. He's not as much of a trash talker necessarily, but he usually gives it straight to you. He usually lets you know what's on his mind. So let's hear the rebuttal from the TSM side.
Yeah, Perkz is a funny guy. He has a big mouth. In the past he's been able to also match that, but we'll see. We'll see if he ends up eating those words. Even though we lost our first series, I don't think he was making it too difficult for us, but Sven did a really good job not making us win the series, but I think if he wants to, make that a reality, he needs to play a little bit better.
And that's spicy. I mean, that's a great comeback, and it is true. I mean, I've said in that series, I thought Sven played absolutely out of his mind. And even though TSM was looking much worse in Cloud9 coming into that series, they only beat them 2-1. TSM had a realistic chance to beat them. And that's with Sven playing amazingly. And yes, Sven can continue to obviously do that. Sven and Vulcan have been great so far. Blabber's been a beast, but Perkz has not been bad, but he has not been amazing, especially when you're looking at like what Bjergsen was able to do last season. Perkz coming in, people are saying, he's going to be better than Bjergsen. He's going to be better than Jensen, all these guys. So far, he's been at best comparable to them, and at worst, a slight downgrade from them. So I did think that was super funny. Bjergsen saying that he's a funny guy. Bjergsen saying that he needs to step it up, that he hasn't been that great so far. Again, it does suck that these guys don't get to go head to head since they're having a little bit of back and forth, but still, Bjergsen's, talking a little trash trash. He's going to have to back it up with some much better drafts than he's been doing recently, and then his team's going to have to back it up with their play. But it's funny, you know, I think it's funny. I think Perkz appreciates the trash talk. I like that these guys are going at it a little bit. So
I think Cloud9 as a team and their culture seems to have shifted a lot. Before, they were a much more relaxed environment, much more about kind of having a good time, but it seems like with the removal of Sneaky and kind of bringing in the new roster with Sven, they've become much more of a serious team, much closer to how TSM has always been. He makes the team get really serious and be really focused on winning. That's just how he is. He's a player who grinds a ton, and I think Perkz fits very well in that culture. I know him very well.
Bjergsen not being actually an active player on TSM.
And I love how, I think it is interesting how Bjergsen talks about the shift in culture from Cloud9, because yes, you know, they were like the lovable meme team before, and they have become a very serious team since then. And I know a lot of the old fans of Cloud9 were like, oh, I hate the direction Cloud9's gone, I miss the old roster, blah, 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 blah. And yeah, they probably have lost some fans, but really over the course of being extremely successful and putting up results, they've really garnered a bigger fan base than ever before, even though they now are this more serious team. I think that's just kind of the way that the whole scene has shifted. And there is a time to be fun and to mess around and joke around. I think Cloud9, this team is still able to do some of that. Blabber's pretty funny. Perkz is obviously a troll and stuff. Fudge has gotten his fair share of trash talking stuff in. Vulcan can be pretty funny on Twitter. And Sven likes to meme himself. But this is a big, big business. These are multi-million-dollar organizations playing. You know, it is a very, very serious thing. So obviously, I think the shift in overall tone has been a little bit natural. But in the end, it's been pretty successful for Cloud9. I think Bjergsen would agree with that, and I like the respect he's showing to the Cloud9 organization and to Perkz, even while getting his jabs in.
I think it's like a new era for TSM. I don't know if it's for better or for worse. We're going to find that out. From a player perspective, I'm a bit sad that I won't get to face him in the Rift, because I thought actually even last year he was still pretty good. He was the best enemy in my opinion, while I think actually Power is a very good player on mages. I think his champion pool is slightly limited, and that's something that's going to be a problem for them in the future. But I also think they're like pretty one-dimensional in what they want to do and how they want to play.
So, again, right there, all the interesting stuff I thought. Like, he is disappointed that Bjergsen's not going to be playing. Everyone else is. That's what all LCS fans, you know, are saying. We want to see Bjergsen playing, especially now that Perkz is in North America. That would have been such a hype, awesome matchup, and we all wish we would have seen that. Also, him saying he thought Bjergsen was the best North American mid. Most people would agree with that, but again, what's Jensen got to say about that? I'm sure he's not loving that. Just pretty funny, because obviously he's been hearing that stuff for a while. And Jensen kind of said the same thing, that he thinks Bjergsen's better than Perkz, and we're really missing Bjergsen more than Perkz coming over is good for us. So I thought that is really, really funny. Also, him saying that Power of Evil is one-dimensional, TSM's one-dimensional, Power of Evil can only play control mages, you know, that's the regular stuff we've heard. But again, saying TSM is one-dimensional, I would disagree a little bit, because I don't even know what their one dimension is. What is TSM's playstyle? What is the goal of this team right now? Like, I agree they don't have very many the game plans and styles and stuff, but what is even their one dimension? I really think they haven't found an identity at all yet. So I get what Perkz is saying, but I would even go a little bit further than what he's saying. But I just thought that was a little bit funny.
If both teams are strong and both teams are kind of competing for the top, then when C9 TSM plays, it's going to be really exciting. So I'm just hoping that I can make TSM a top contender right now, and I know that Perkz is doing everything that he can to make C9 the same, and hopefully we'll meet them in some high-stakes matches.
And yes, that is wrapping that video up, and I completely agree with that there. Obviously, there's a ton of TSM fans, a ton of C9 fans, a ton of TSM haters, a ton of C9 haters, but it really is better for everyone. It is better for the league, for esports, for the LCS, when TSM is good and Cloud9 is good, and they are playing big series in big games. For a successful league, for viewership, for everything, for the money coming in, for sponsorships, for brands, you want the biggest fan bases, the biggest teams to be the most successful. Like, so many people who hate on TSM or hate on Cloud9 or whoever, it's really silly, because in the end, the overall success of the league is going to be like, I get if you want your favorite team to beat TSM, but you should want TSM to at least be in the running. You should want them to be competitive, and you should want the same for Cloud9 and Team Liquid, and even 100 Thieves is starting to get into that territory where if the good teams are good and exciting and fun to watch and competitive, that is better for everyone involved. It's going to be more money, more longevity, more viewership, more everything, and I am a little bit worried at this point, because Cloud9 seems like they're one one of the top teams. They're even competing for an LCS championship this year, especially with how TL randomly lost yesterday and looked kind of weird. But TSM is trending in the opposite direction. They're a slow, boring team who has not found a way to be successful with their new roster. They have some big holes. They have some big worries. Maybe they're building towards the future, but I don't even know if they're doing that correctly. So these two teams are going in opposite directions. I don't think many people are going to be picking TSM to beat Cloud9 today, but that doesn't mean it can't happen. We already saw TSM beat Cloud9 during the lock-in tournament. If that was a best of one, they would have just beat them and moved on. Obviously, C9 got a chance to come back, win game 2 and 3, but I really think Cloud9 has a ton of just overall advantages in this series. I think Power of Evil has slowly been ramping up. He's been playing better, but I think Sword Art's maybe even been playing a little worse recently. TSM's bot lane as a whole is a big concern, and Cloud9's bot lane is a huge strength. I see Cloud9 really being able to smash this game through the bot lane. In the last 2 games they played, Sven was an absolute monster. They're learning how to play more around Fudge. I don't even know that Fudge is necessarily playing any better, but I know they're playing around him better, helping out with picks, being able to roam up to him, being able to support him more, and that is slowly ramping up. Hooney's playing a little bit better for TSM as well, but again, Lost is still not really cutting it for me, but that doesn't mean he can't figure some things out. Obviously, they're practicing scrimming a ton, but the biggest thing right now is that TSM is having some weird drafts, and their play on the Rift is just not super good. There's not a lot going right, so, I hope this game is competitive. I hope it's fun. I hope it's exciting. But I really want to see TSM playing fast, playing exciting, and even if they lose, going down in flames rather than just rolling over and dying. And then on Cloud9 side, I really hope Fudge and Perkz continue to ramp up and just become better and better, because I think Blabber and the bot lane have been more standing out than the solo lanes for C9 so far this season. But that is pretty much it for this video today, guys. Definitely drop a like if you enjoyed it. It helps me out so much with the YouTube algorithm, and I would appreciate it a ton. Leave a comment down below. What do you think about the C9 TSM rivalry and where it stands right now, and who do you got winning today? I would love to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions on anything we talked about in today's video. Subscribe to stay up to date on my latest content. Hopefully I catch you guys in the next one, but until then, peace.